last three brain cells here. I'm Sammy Terravina here, host of OA Now, host of Around the OA, my blog, and um, one of the hosts of Terravina on Orion Television. I'd like to welcome those watching the local voice on SoundCloud and those watching Orion Television. I got Ian here. I'm calling in this week. Ian, how are things going for you today?
Oh, they're going. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. Been coaching track and field. Been pretty busy with how things have been.
Yeah. Tis the season.
Oh yeah, especially when we get to talk NFL draft. Starts up Thursday night. You know what I mean? Shout out the Detroit Pistons for being in the playoffs, taking on team we surrender, the New York Knicks.
Yeah, a lot going on. It's April and the D is back in full swing.
Oh, it is. So let's get ready to talk NFL draft. I think all 32 teams draft in the first round this year. Isn't that interesting?
It's a bit of a rarity. We'll see if it holds true.
I don't know
Thursday.
I don't know if it holds true, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The first pick of the draft is the Tennessee Titans. Look at the things that the Titans need. Obviously, the first thing that the Titans need, is quarterback play. When you look at the Titans situation from last year, what are you seeing with Tennessee?
So I believe they already informed Cameron Ward he'd be the number one pick. So it sounds like we can book that one. That they're going to move on from Will Levis and go with a rookie at quarterback.
Well,
got a new coach last year, and
do you think it's a good idea for them to go that route? Especially putting a faith on a rookie quarterback.
Well, I think they're in a bit of a tough spot because the quarterback class is not good.
No.
It's kind of a weird draft where, to me, it seems more deep, more spread out as opposed to being, top heavy with some blue chippers and then not much else. It seems like it's not many blue chippers. So I don't know. Tennessee's in a tough spot. I imagine they tried to get out of that pick, but I don't know. I think teams are not willing to trade up for anybody, to the number one pick, because I don't think anyone's worth it, really.
No, they're not. You clearly look at what Tennessee's situation, where they're at. Tennessee, finishing last in the AFC South. I just don't know if the quarterback class is very good this year. I think, obviously, you look at Shedeur Sanders there, got Deion's kid there. He's got two of them in the draft this year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Tennessee, as mentioned, quarterback they need. There's some other areas they need too, but definitely quarterback is the top one where they have to address.
Yeah, it's just tough when you use the number one pick on one that might not be the guy. You know what I mean? He might not be worthy of the number one pick, but just because it's so weak this year, he is.
So that's going to be interesting to see where they go. So Tennessee right now is drafting the number one overall pick. Number 2 is the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is a team that seriously needs a quarterback in the worst way. Deshaun Watson's been a disaster. They traded for Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco's back there? So what the heck is going on with Cleveland?
I saw something that they also said they're taking Travis Hunter number 2 already.
What?
Maybe I got duped on whatever, Twitter, X, whatever. But I thought I saw that from a reputable account.
That makes no sense. They need a quarterback.
But who would they go with?
You got Shedeur Sanders over there from Colorado there.
For the number 2 pick?
Sure. They need quarterback help. Cleveland needs that.
Just because you need it, they need a lot.
I know they need
doesn't mean they should go with just a guy just because it's the position of need. They already already in the hole with what's his name?
Myles Garrett.
The quarterback they have.
Oh, Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I know.
So they're going to be paying him already. You can't have another sunk quarterback. They gotta. I don't know how you go about getting the guy unless you have the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Maybe the last few years, the number 2 quarterback off the board was proven to be pretty good.
Sure. Hmm.
What's his name last year?
Yeah.
Daniels.
Yeah. Jalen Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the year before, I can't remember who off the top of my head. But anyways, I I don't know. I don't know. Travis Hunter's got a lot of upside, a lot of talent.
Hmm.
Um, so at that number 2 pick, you gotta go with whoever you
Yeah, but I
feel
still don't
is
think
the best player.
I still don't think quarterback is. Because Cleveland's got to go quarterback. Now, another team that needs a quarterback, and maybe not anymore, is the New York Giants. I mean, they just got rid of Daniel Jones. I don't know where he's been now.
Indy. I think
Oh,
he
he's in
signed in
Indy?
Indy. I
Oh, that's
believe
just
so.
Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones battling? Oh, boy.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Glad I'm not a Colts fan.
Jinkies. Jinkies. Good Lord. So, New York. Where do you see New York going? I mean, they need some pieces, particularly offensive line, especially. That's been a disaster.
Right, right. I don't know. I could see them building to their strength though, which is their D line, and getting
Why?
Mason Graham or something.
Why? That makes no sense. Why? They need
Why
help
not?
on.
But if you can make your front on the D line dominant, you're close there. You know they got Lawrence and 2 ends in
Right.
Burns and or whoever it was, Burns and
Right.
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau, yeah.
So, you plug up the middle some more with Mason Graham. Then you are hopefully, keeping games low scoring and praying to God Russell Wilson and
Oh, my
Jameis
God.
Winston can
Oh,
figure
my
out the
God.
quarterback room.
Hey, Russell Wilson, I think it's an upgrade that the Giants have a quarterback right now, Russell Wilson, there. I mean, I think he'll be an upgrade, even though he'll be running for his life a lot because that offensive line is God beyond awful. I mean, but
I'm not sure how good he can run either, but
New York needs an offensive lineman. This is where you and I disagree on. I think they go after an offensive lineman. They have to address that line pretty badly because
but
that line.
who do you propose? Who's the number 3 worthy overall,
Well,
O-line pick?
I don't know. I mean, but I just assume that you got to go maybe if you look at the best available. I mean, obviously you look at from an offensive line perspective, maybe Armand Manabu from Missouri, I think would make a lot of sense for New York.
Okay.
But I think they definitely need help in that off. And Will Campbell could be a player to watch for. He could be another one to watch for. But I mean, but they seriously need help in that offensive line, man. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. They're picking up high for a reason. These
Yeah.
teams need help all over the board, man.
Oh my God, yes they do. I mean, number 4, you got the New England Patriots. I mean, Drake May at quarterback. He had a nice year. He had a really nice year. Um, they need help elsewhere. So, where do you think? Where are you seeing the Patriots going?
This is a team that I see that could potentially, call me crazy, start swinging for a running back.
Oh my God, you don't think they're going after that Boise State running back now, do you, Alshon Jeffrey?
Call me crazy,
I
but they
believe you.
invested a lot. They invested a lot of money in free agency. Now they need to complement it with some skilled players. They have next to nothing on offense. Who's their running back? Is it Shane Vereen still? I mean,
I
I
think
don't
it's
even know.
Rashad Stevenson, isn't it? Him?
Okay, so yeah, okay. They, I think teams are more willing to start drafting running backs up high since Bijan went, Gibbs went. You know what I mean? It's been the running backs starting to get paid again with Barkley's deal. So there was a lull in the importance of the position for a while, but now I think teams are starting to get back to valuing running backs, and I would not be surprised, and I would love it if they picked him because that means he does not end up in our division with the Bears.
Yes, and I know Chicago needs a running back, and I know that a lot. Even though they do have a running back in they do have gotta remember the guy's name.
Well, they got Swift, and I can't
Yeah,
remember who
DeAndre
else they
Swift.
have.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift. That's the one I'm thinking about. But I just think when you look at New England, I mean, you can't go on an offensive lineman either. I mean, you can't go out with one of those. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, that would be my theory. Running a team, you get big people.
Yeah,
Big
you
people
gotta
up
go
high
get big
usually.
people. You gotta go get big people because that'll help you out a lot. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, that's where the game is, man. In
Mm-hmm.
the trenches.
Yep. Number 5, we got the Cons, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tony Khan and Charlie Khan. Tony Khan AEW. Think about that. So you got Trevor
Yikes.
Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. I mean, to me, this team needs line help.
Duval.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely need line help. They definitely need line help. They have some skilled position players. I think maybe receivers a little thin now. But they still have ETN. They don't have Cameron Kirk. They don't have the tight end Ingram. They lost. But they have that rookie. It's escaping me right now. Well, he's a second year guy now.
Mm-hmm. But do you think
83.
do they go after defense at all secondary?
I mean they could, but
They don't need it.
not.
But
I'm not going secondary at pick 5. You know what I mean?
right, but I just think if there's a receiver available, the best receiver on there is Tatoya McMillan of Arizona. He's probably the best one available.
Yeah.
So,
At the number two receiver
yeah, I think that would make
in the class.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to see if he goes there. I think
That would be a Jacksonville Jaguar pick.
yeah,
Pick a
because they're
receiver.
gonna reach. They're gonna reach. You know what I mean? Okay,
Yes.
number.
But they do have a new GM. Who'd that? The
Yeah,
GM came from the Rams.
Yes,
So
we know how
they-
good
right.
that program.
they do pretty good drafting. So I got to imagine he's a little sharper than that. But we'll see.
Yeah, I hope he is. You know what I mean? Number 6, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, like new coach and Pete Carroll taking over. Quarterback, they got Geno Smith at quarterback. You got Brock
Which
Bowers.
Didn't they sign him?
Yeah,
Geno?
they signed him. I'm going like, what are you doing?
So there's no Shador Sanders in Vegas. Happening.
No Shador Sanders in Vegas happening. No. But I do see them needing a deep threat. You know what I mean? Obviously, they need a deep threat. But they do. But it wouldn't surprise me here if they go after maybe a linebacker and Jalen Walker could be available. You know what I mean? That could be interesting.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Georgia.
Oh yeah. I think he would be perfect sense for the Raiders.
So let me run something by you here. There's been recent, talks. Jameson Williams wants out of Detroit.
Yes,
right?
That's what I'm hearing.
Can you see him in any other town other than Vegas? Because I feel like if JMO were to get moved, I'm not condoning it.
If
I don't want him to go anywhere.
if JMO gets moved, I could see him going to the Raiders, but you got to get Max Crosby. That's the only logistical move I could see.
That ain't happening.
I know that ain't happening.
You could probably get a 3rd round pick for JMO. Maybe a 2nd.
But still, I think, if you're going to trade Jameson Williams, you gotta sweeten the pot a little bit. You know what I mean? And I trust Brad Holmes with this. So
yeah, I don't understand the trade rumors with him. I don't think it's be wise because he's still on a rookie deal.
I don't think it's wise for JMO to want out of Detroit. I don't think it's wise.
I don't think he does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he does. This could all just be complete smoke.
Yeah, this could be smoke. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I think it'll be interesting to see. Now, a team that really needs help is the New York Jets. I mean, my God. I mean, the New York Packers experiment did not work this year. And I think it's time to blow everything up. You got to go get a quarterback if you're the Jets. I know they
Poor
signed
Aaron Rodgers.
Poor Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me? I mean.
Yes.
Okay. This is where I think Shadir Sanders comes into play. Sanders, yeah. I think he's going to be with the Jets. I just think that Shadir Sanders, what he's going to do is he's going to have a monster year with the Jets. I know the Jets need some height. They need some love. They got a good defense. They just need an offense.
True. Didn't they sign Justin Fields?
Oh, wait, they did sign Justin Fields. I apologize. So they might not need a quarterback.
Right. I think he'll get the crack at starting, but I don't know. Aaron Glenn's there now. He's kind of a no BS dude, as we've known
Yes,
here.
we have.
So
Yep.
I don't know, man. I can't see. I have no idea what the Jets would do.
Yeah, so that'll be
Are they
interesting.
gonna Jets, or are they a new Jets?
They better draft an offensive lineman just for the heck of it. They better draft an offensive lineman because, and that's pretty much where they got to go. If they need help on that side of the ball, offense. They need a playmaker. Do they go tight end? I don't know, but Loveland would be an interesting pick here if they went that way. So they need tight ends, that's for sure. So we'll see. Number 8, the Carolina Panthers. Oh boy, this has been a mess franchise. I feel bad for Bryce Young. I just feel bad for Bryce Young.
Well, could they use a quarterback or what? Is he the answer?
They better if they go quarterback, they better trade Bryce Young because
they would.
They should trade Bryce Young because they got the running back situation figured out. They got receivers. I think an offensive lineman would do something here. Maybe even go on defense. Maybe a linebacker would be good for them. I mean, they need a linebacker in the worst way possible. And I think, obviously, Carter would be, Jalen Watt could be perfect, but I think he'll be gone by then. Maybe go after Jihad Campbell. I think that would be interesting to keep an eye on. So that's another player to keep an eye on. So Carolina needs a linebacker. They need some help there. So I just think that it'll be interesting to see what Carolina does, but they do need a lot of help in that area.
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh yeah. So let's go number 9, your hometown Saints. You got your hometown Saints.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Quarterback?
Need.
Yeah, big need. I think this is where Sanders goes. It's New Orleans.
It could be. This could be his spot.
Derek Carr ain't getting any better.
No, and I think they already said he's out for this year or something.
Yeah, he is, and they need a quarterback, so
this seems like a spot for him because I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's a good football town, but it's not a crazy media market.
Right.
So I don't know. I could see that this being a place where Shedeur Sanders be able to develop. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of that these days. These guys need to develop in the NFL, and there's not. They also need immediate results. So it's kind of ridiculous. But
it is.
I think this is a good spot for them because they need to get healthy with the cap. Their cap is still a complete mess.
Yes, it is.
So they can take some time to iron things out a little bit. And who's their coach?
The new one.
They just hired. Kellen Moore. Hello.
Kellen Moore. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's an offensive guru.
So if they take the time to, they draft Shedeur now, and then hopefully in 3 years they can start signing players again with their cap situation, and Shedeur's ready to rock and roll. So I definitely see this as being his spot.
I do think that too. And then number 10, we start the NFC North discussion. We got the Monsters of Midway, Chicago Bears, new coach there. You got new coach there. They got an offense ready to explode. Defense looks good. I think for Chicago, they need an offensive lineman.
Right, for sure. Well, in free agency and via trade, they have rebuilt their line. But they still need to get younger there and talented there because they brought in Jonah Jackson, who's often injured. They brought in Tooney, who's older. So, yeah, that would be wise. But, oh, man, if Genty's still on the board at 10.
If Genty's still on the board, yeah, you better go get him. Genty's on the board, yeah, you better go get him.
Man, I cannot wait for that first Bears-Lions game, man. Oh, baby.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. You know what I mean?
They have gotten so much hype. And then after this draft, I'm sure they're going to get so much more hype. And
basically, tell Lions fans to basically just tell Chicago fans to shut up. That's basically what it is.
Well, we'll see what happens,
Yeah, the NFC North will be interesting.
The offseason hype is always very funny.
Yeah, but I still think the NFC North goes through Detroit. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yep. 11, San Francisco. Good team. I don't know why Brock Purdy's their quarterback, but
They're a mess.
they're
They're
a
a bit
mess.
of a mess right now.
I know. You got
They
both.
lost a lot of players. They have to pay Brock Purdy $60 million a year.
What, is he worth that much money?
No.
I know he
No.
got a Super. I know he took him a Super Bowl, but still, why are you
He
paying
did.
Brock Purdy?
Because he's the only guy through the carousel of quarterbacks they've had that's stuck. Everyone else has been injured or not performed, and he has. So you have to give him credit. And in this, I mean, we're paying Jared Goff 55 or whatever. So
Yeah, but
what I
Jared
would
Goff.
say you want.
Yeah, but Jared Goff produced results.
He has, but he's appeared in a Super Bowl with a different franchise. He's
Right.
very similar, maybe not similar
Mhm.
stature, but similar, I would say,
Mhm.
quarterback, system quarterback
Mhm.
in a way.
Right.
So
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how Jared Goff handles the new offensive coordinator with the Lions.
right.
Very
Right.
interesting. See how that one goes. Number 12, we got the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons here. Got Dak here. America's team. We got the Cowboys cheerleaders there. I mean, they need a receiver badly. Opposite CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they need help everywhere. I mean,
They
what's
need
your
O-line help.
Yeah,
They
definitely
need O-line
O-line help. Yeah, definitely O-line help.
They need running back help.
Yes, they do.
I don't think they need receiver help as much as those two things.
Well,
But being the Cowboys, I hope
it's
they
Jerry
draft a
Jones.
receiver.
It's the Cowboys.
I hope they draft that kid from Texas. Just to be hilarious.
What were you saying? Like if they go after and draft Jetty Brown, a corner from Texas, that's who you're thinking they're gonna go after?
No, I was thinking the receiver. What's that receiver's name? Golden?
Oh, Matthew Golden?
Isn't he from Texas?
Yeah, he's from Texas. Yeah, that would be an absolute disaster if Jerry Jones decides to go and draft Matthew Golden from Texas. I would not like that.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh boy, that would be a disaster waiting to happen.
As a Cowboy hater, that'd be great.
Of course, everybody's a Cowboy hater. You know what I mean? I know how the Metroplex feels, being a Dallas Stars fan myself. You know what I mean? I know how the Metroplex feels about their sports teams. So, we'll see what happens there. Number 13, the Miami Dolphins. I mean, you look at Miami, Ian. Two of there. They got running backs. Maybe a receiver here fits.
They do. Tyreek Hill could be out the door. Most importantly, they need somebody that can play football in cold weather.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They got to go after, I think, an offensive lineman who has experience in the cold. I think a perfect person for this would be Derek Harmon of Oregon would be perfect for this spot.
No, he's going to fall all the way to 28.
No, I see the Lions taking Josh Simmons of Ohio State. So, Josh Simmons would make a perfect fit here for this pick here. But I just think, you know what I mean? Like, but I think Josh Simmons would be perfect here. But I also think that Derek Harmon would be would be perfect here. I forgot Derek Harmon's defensive tackle. And Miami, I don't know if they need a D tackle, but they would make perfect sense. They need guys who can play in the cold, go play a game at Buffalo, go play a game at Foxborough, play a game in New England, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or
Definitely.
New York, you know what I mean? So I think they got to get a Big Ten guy in there. They got to get a Big Ten guy, I think.
I'd agree.
Number 14. Actually, at the Indianapolis Colts, this is where the Colts are drafted. We talked about the quarterback battle between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. But this team needs line help. I mean, it's clear. I think this is where they maybe go defensive tackle, maybe offensive tackle. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Indy to me is, I don't know. I don't think they're a terrible team, really. They just don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, but you got Daniel
They
Jones.
got running back, they got receiving. Yeah, I know, exactly. They don't have one, man.
mean,
Those are two bad options.
yeah, two really bad options. Well, Anthony Richardson, I think, makes the best sense here. I think
I
would
think he'll be the starter.
He'll be a starter with Daniel Jones. But if Daniel Jones has to play, I mean, it's a difference of styles. Richardson's more that athletic type running quarterback, whereas Daniel Jones can throw the ball, but he throws picks. I mean, my God.
Daniel Jones is awful.
I talked to my assistant principal at Oakview Middle School, Nick Garcia, about Daniel Jones all the time. And I criticize Danny Dimes, to be this next quarterback of the future. I'm going dude, this guy's a disaster. How in the world did the Giants decide to pick this guy at number 6 in the first round? He's a day 3 player.
Hey, to be fair, I think he was 12 or 15, wasn't he? He wasn't 6.
Yeah, he's not 6. I think, pick him over the late Dwayne Haskins. I mean, that was terrible.
Right. Maybe he went 15. Yeah.
Still. Number 15, the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, my God. I asked myself, why in the blue world did they draft Michael Penix?
Because he's their starting quarterback, man.
Yeah, but it's paying Kirk Cousins a lot of money, too.
That was pretty foolish.
That was very foolish. Yeah, pretty foolish indeed. They need line help. I mean, that's obvious,
Right.
Dirty Birds go after an offensive lineman.
Yeah, both lines.
Yeah, both lines. Yeah, they need help. Both lines do need help. So that's where I see Atlanta going. Number 16, the Arizona Cardinals. What do you think where they fit?
Also, O and D line, man.
Oh yeah.
They got a lot of skill players.
They do.
They're all in on Kyler. So, man, they're a weird team.
Yeah, they're
a very weird team.
They addressed their defensive end situation, which is good. Off the offensive line, they need offensive line help. I think that's where they go offensive line. So that'd be something to really watch for here in this one. 17, the Who Days, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, brother.
They need tight end.
You don't think they could use a receiver?
Oh, yeah. Well, wait a minute. They just paid their top receivers.
I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know.
All their money's in receiving.
Yeah, they need offense. They need line help. That's clear. That is really clear.
They need line help. And, hey, man, we'll see what happens with Trey Hendrickson as well, right? I mean, is he a draft night trade? Who knows?
Is he a draft night trade? If he goes to the Lions, that would be something. Lions need edge help. They need edge help. My God.
Talk to me, Big Daddy. That's what we're talking about right there, baby.
Oh, yeah. They need edge help, so that's something to keep an eye on. Number 18, new era for the Seattle Seahawks. New quarterback over there.
Wait, who's their quarterback? Why am I drawing a blank?
It can't be Drew Lock. It can't be Drew Lock.
No, they.
Yeah.
From Vikings.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Oh boy. Oh boy. Sam Darnold.
They have no DK Metcalf.
No. Ask the Lions with Sam Darnold.
Right. The Lions love Sam Darnold.
The Lions love him, yes. I mean, Sam Darnold was really bad against them. And then the playoff game against the Rams. And Lions and Rams both love him. You know what I mean? Because let's not forget, he also lost twice to Rams. So let's not forget that.
Right.
So let's figure that one out. Let's see how that one goes.
Man, Seattle, they're a good organization. So they
defense
could.
Defense is good. They need a lineman. They need an offensive lineman. They need a receiver, obviously. They lost.
This could be a sneaky spot for Colston Loveland.
Yes.
Because
tight end?
You have their, when Loveland or McDonald, their head coach, was the D coordinator.
Coordinator at Michigan, yep.
And he could swipe them, or he could swipe Loveland before he hits the Chargers, before Harbaugh
gets him. Yeah, I think Harbaugh is going to go get Will Johnson that corner. I really think Harbaugh is going to go get him.
You know what? I hope so, because that guy, man, does he play football? I don't even know. He played against Fresno State. That was the last game I saw him play.
Yes. And I really think that's where I think Will Johnson goes. Is going to be at 22, I'd see. But 19, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, do they need another offensive lineman.
They do. They're good on running back. They're pretty good
Wide
at
receiver.
receiver. But this could
Defensive
be another
line.
spot where if they just wanted to go crazy, pick up Loveland, pick up the
I think
other tight end that I'm
I think
forgetting from
defensive.
LSU.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, like that to me is really interesting. I mean, yeah, the tight end from LSU. Yeah, Thomas makes a lot of sense. I think it'll be a good fit for him. I think so. We'll see what happens there with that one. Now we go to the 20s. We're in the 20th pick here. That is the 20th pick is the Denver Broncos. Of course, the big news with, of course, in our area is Zach Linus is now the new special teams coach for the Broncos, reuniting with Coach Sean Payton. Leaving Oxford.
Is he the head special teams coach or assistant?
He's an assistant, and at Oxford now, Trevor Potts takes over that team over there. So I'm curious to see how this goes.
Well, another local tie is we also took the Lions offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
is from he was with Sean Payton the last 2 years. So
it'll be interesting to see how he does with Jared Goff there. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see how that one goes. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But where do you see Denver going?
So Denver has a pretty good team, to be honest. They have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them also trying to invest up front, though, in the O-line.
Yeah, they need offensive linemen. I think it makes sense for them. Offensive lineman makes a lot of sense for them. I think that'll be something to really keep an eye on is that offensive line. And I think Denver needs that pretty badly. So it'll be something to keep an eye on. Maybe a corner could be something to keep an eye on. So
pair guy with Surtain.
Yeah, opposite Surtain. Yeah, makes sense. So that's another area I can watch carefully. Number 21, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh. Let's see. Quarterback could be an interesting one. Could they get a quarterback here? Especially because I know they've been linked to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, brother. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Who else would they get if Sanders and Cam Ward are off the board? Who are you getting?
Let's see. I think a good fit at quarterback would be Shai Sanders. I think if they want to go and reach for a quarterback, I just think that Jackson Dart would be a perfect fit for Pittsburgh. Went to Ole Miss, you know what I mean?
That is who a lot of people are saying could go in the first round.
Yeah, I think Jackson Dart would be a good fit for Pittsburgh. I mean, obviously, he played for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, but I just think it'll be interesting to see how he does, if he goes to Pittsburgh. So it'll be something to keep an eye on. 22, we got the LA Chargers. This is where I think Will Johnson goes from Michigan. Obviously, didn't play a lot in the bowl game. Didn't play against Ohio State. Obviously, that's where I see him going is 22.
If you see it, I'll go with it.
Okay. Next,
he'll get somebody from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Kenneth Grant even goes this high. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Next up at 23, we got I'm going to use the quote of Tom Grossi here, okay? The Green Bay mother-loving Packers at 23.
Yeah,
that's what that's what Tom Grossi's calling. But they better be careful. They better be careful. They better be careful because the Lions could jump them here because they've done it the last few years.
Yes, they have.
And they've really screwed over poor Tom Grossi. They screwed him over big time.
Hey, guess what?
What?
Guess what? Everyone in Green Bay.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the history of the Lions and playing in this division, but it hasn't been fun.
No.
Up until about 2022. So we still owe them. I think we still owe them a few tricks, whether it be retiring their quarterback,
winning in the rain,
stealing their draft picks.
Yep, winning in the rain. Winning in the rain, obviously.
That was a big one.
But when you look at Green Bay, who they need, you better go get an offensive lineman.
Yeah, in this division, for sure.
You need offensive
with Jordan
linemen.
Love. Jordan Love, injured quite a bit last year, whether it be the time, he was out with his whatever ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Then they said he had an elbow injury. That's why he was so bad to end the year.
Mm-hmm.
They need someone. They need more protection for sure. And
Yeah.
my God, they have a lot of receivers. None of them, I don't know. Are any of them good?
They're
Christian Watson's
solid.
never
Christian
healthy.
Watson, you got Jaden Reed from Michigan State standout.
Yeah. There's no
Christian Watson.
top, there's no top dog there.
No, but they got good players there,
They
and they
do. They
develop
got a
them.
good young team. They got a good young
Defense is
team for
getting
sure.
better. Their defense is getting better. I mean,
Yeah.
Green Bay. Yeah, I think offensive lineman makes sense for the Grassi mother loving Packers. So shout out to Tom Grassi. If he watches us, you know what I mean. Like shout out to him. So okay.
I'll say don't watch us, please.
I think Tom Grassi should watch us. I really do.
No, I guess I'll accept any viewers. That's true.
I think we get viewers. You know what I mean. So we're fine.
Yep.
All right. Next up, the 24 is the Minnesota Vikings, or as Tom Grassi calls it, the purple incarnation of Satan. Yep.
Oh man,
So
I hate to agree with him there, but I might have to.
when you look at the Vikings, they're going with JJ at quarterback. They got running. They got a rushing attack. I'm a little nervous about this, especially for a receiver of the Vikings. Defensive lines where they got to address things. They need an edge rusher, obviously.
Right.
I really think if you're the Vikings, I think Abdul Carter makes a lot of sense.
He will not be there.
Yeah, I know he won't be there, but they need an edge rusher, obviously. Mikael Williams
do.
might be there. James
Yep.
Pierce might be there. Mike
Pierce
Boone
will be there.
Oh, you think Pierce will be there?
Yeah, there's a lot of bad publicity about him.
Oh, yeah.
Unless one of the middle round teams is making it and they're going to take him. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of bad rap about him. But I just think Pierce would make a lot of sense. They need an edge rusher pretty much. So we'll see how it goes. 25, the Houston Texans. Oh, boy. They need line help in the worst way possible to protect CJ Stroud. My God.
Yeah, they gave all their I don't know what they're doing, man. But I think they're telling you they're going to draft pretty heavily along the O-line.
They have to. I mean, my God, they need to protect CJ Stroud.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, they need to protect CJ Stroud the worst way possible because you look at Houston, in their loss to KC, it was their offensive line that got shredded by Kansas City's defense. So, really, they need to invest heavily on the offensive line. They need help for Stroud. They need protection for Stroud. I mean, bottom line is they need help for Stroud. So, we'll see what happens with them. 26, you got the LA Rams. Do they draft their quarterback in the future here? Or do they go elsewhere?
I don't see them going quarterback. No.
Okay. Still got confidence in Matthew Stafford's arm?
Well, they signed him to some sort of an extension, 2-year. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think, with Cooper Kupp out now, man, maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is a spot where they do take a receiver, or they could be the LA Rams and get out of the pick and move back.
I could see them moving back. I really do. So this would be interesting to see if they can move back, get more picks. So that'll be something to keep an eye on with the Rams. So that'll be a team to really watch for as we go forward there. Number 27, we got my beloved Baltimore Ravens. Why? What's wrong with the Ravens?
The fact that you said they're your beloved.
My beloved Baltimore Ravens, part of my empire.
That's ridiculous.
Why?
Because you have a perfectly good football team in town.
Yeah, but Baltimore, obviously, with Lamar at quarterback. Lamar had a great year. He had a nice year. Had that loss to Buffalo. To me, corner has got to be addressed. You know what I mean? Corner has to be addressed. And I forgot to mention on the Giants pick, corner has to be addressed too because their corners were just terrible last year.
Right. Yeah. And surprisingly, Baltimore's was too.
Yeah, Baltimore was not very
typical.
good. I mean, that's very unusual. I mean, they were very bad at corner last year. They need a defensive end real badly. So that's something to really keep an eye on is where Baltimore goes is I think corner is where I think they're going to go, but you never know. I mean, like they could go D line, they go O line, protect Lamar. They need Lamar. They need another playmaker for Lamar. I really think they need another playmaker.
As a huge Ravens fan, what do you hope they do?
Get a corner. Get a corner badly because their
Okay.
defense was shredded by Buffalo.
Right.
So, number 28, the Detroit Lions. Who they need an edge rusher terribly.
They do.
They need an offensive lineman terribly.
They do.
So if you're Brad Holmes, you know, you say, okay, let's resign to Darius Smith. You know what I mean? They could do that. They could trade for Hendrickson. I think they could do that. Or, you know, they could go after, or they can just go after an offensive lineman, considering if they have competence in their edge rushing situation. But they got to get somebody opposite Aiden Hutchinson that could really create some pressure on that, on the offensive line and the quarterback.
Yeah, or, you know, I think that's why they like Davenport, because he's a bit of a, he's an edge holder, if you will, or a collapse the pocket.
Injury prone, though.
He is, but I think if they have an anchor on the edge, like what Davenport could be if he ever played football, and then you let Aiden go get the quarterback, I think that's more what they're looking for. So that could be the edge from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I
think he would fit perfectly.
But, you know, if you got a guy that also is going to run, you know, have some moves, could be the guy from Boston College. Can't remember his name.
I got the list here for Georgia. Michael Williams. I think he would be perfect.
Right.
And then you were saying the edge rusher from Mike Green's available. Shamir Stewart's available.
That's A&M. Who's the Boston College guy?
Let me see who the Boston College guy is. So I'm gonna take a look here. Also, Boston College. Donovan Esaruscu.
Okay. Yeah. Is that who I'm thinking? That might be who I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm, you're thinking of.
Anyways, yeah, I could see edge. Honestly, I kind of hope it's O-line.
If the Lions were going offensive line, I think Kelvin Banks would be a perfect fit for this team.
That's kind of what I want them to do. Get an O-lineman. And you know who I really like is the guy from Alabama. He probably won't be there, but
not Chad Campbell. He's a linebacker.
Booker? Is it Booker?
Booker?
Tyler Booker? What's his name?
Let me see.
Tyler Booker?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, Tyler
Alabama?
Booker. Yeah. Yeah, but another lineman I really like for the Lions is Josh Simmons. I really like him, you know, from Ohio State. You know what I mean? Obviously, he would be a good fit. You know what I mean? So any offensive lineman, maybe an edge rusher especially, would be perfect. I've been talking to Okie assistant principal Nick Garcia about this, about the Lions pick, and you know, obviously offensive line would be perfect here. But I really think if you're the Lions here, I agree with you, Ian, on the pick. It should be as Kelvin Banks. I think Kelvin Banks would be absolutely perfect. 6'5", 315. I mean, like, led Texas. You know what I mean? I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Lions. You think so? That'd be a good fit for the Lions?
I do. What school is he from?
Texas.
Oh, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like him. And then there's another guy, Gray Zabel. Where's he from? North Dakota State or something like that.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good fit. I mean, he'd be good.
They need somebody with position flexibility on the O-line. You know what I mean? Somebody they could envision potentially snapping the ball, potentially playing guard. I think they're okay on tackle.
Yeah.
You know, even with Decker getting long in the tooth, I think the way more pressing need is an interior guy and somebody that can play all three interior spots.
That would be something to really keep an eye on. I think that would be a good fit for the Lions. So we'll see what happens when they go. Number 29, you got the Washington Commanders, or you and I call them still the Redskins. So when you look at Washington, obviously Jane Daniels at quarterback, he's really settled in. They got receivers, got a rushing attack. Is this where you think the Commanders go to the offensive line or address that area?
Yeah, yeah, but they also could use D-line help, and I fear they could be a team that would jump in and get Hendrickson. You know what I
They
mean?
could, and
So
that would be dangerous if you're a Lions fan.
yes, it
You know,
would.
if they can get
Yes, it
hit,
would.
and I really think they could. I mean, they could. They have that. They could trade that first round pick to get Hendrickson. That could be really interesting to see how that one goes.
And I do, call me crazy, but I feel like part of their year last year was a bit fluky. You
Yeah,
know,
it was. Beating Detroit was huge for them.
it was, and they earned it. I don't think they got Detroit's best effort. They are a good football team, but I don't know. Daniels, he's good. I don't fear him like I fear others, I guess.
Well, and you look at Jaden Daniels next year, being a second year, you got to worry about the sophomore slump with him. So that's something to really keep an eye on, So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Exactly.
We got two more picks here, Ian. Two more picks. We got number 30 is the Buffalo Bills. I mean, Buffalo got to the AFC Championship game, couldn't figure out their Kansas City problem. Where does Buffalo go from here?
This makes sense for a receiver. Mm-hmm. It's late first round. They desperately need somebody. Shoot, they could use a running back. I know they got Cook, but I think we're having a contract issue there. So, yeah, I could see them going skilled player here. I like their O-line quite a bit.
Sense. Travion Henderson might be a good fit here.
Yeah, I think they got a really good O-line. I think maybe on the D-line, but again, not terrible. Defense, they kind of reloaded on the fly.
Kenneth Grant would be perfect here.
He would. That could be. Yeah, I could see him going late first round to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be a really interesting fit. I mean, they got him at 27 right now, but that would be a really good fit. Taking at number 31, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, they were exposed by the Eagles. I mean, obviously, defensive line. They need a defensive lineman pretty badly.
And if Grant doesn't go before, I could see him going here.
Yes, I do.
You pair him with Jones up the middle, man.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good. Grant is more of a space eater. Jones go get the quarterback from the inside.
But then you gotta wonder you gotta watch with Spags being the defensive coordinator, who's their edge rusher is gonna be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They don't really. They got Karlaftis, who kind of is that by default, but they don't have a true dog on the edge.
No, and I think that could be a big problem there for Kansas City, and if they don't address that, that could be trouble. But also, you got to look at offensive line. I mean, Patrick Mahomes took a beating last year, with Kansas City. So you don't think?
And they traded away Tooney. I mean, he's older, but he's better, a good player. So
yeah,
they definitely need help there. And shoot, look at Travis Kelce. Boy, you talk about being exposed.
Yeah, he is not awful. He is not a blocking tight end. I mean, I know he's dating Taylor Swift and all that, but I just think that he is not.
He should just go do that.
What? Just go date Taylor Swift and be a celebrity?
Be done here. Yeah, because he looked pretty bad.
Yeah, he did look pretty bad in the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. He did look really bad in the Super Bowl. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, you really look at Kansas City offensive line and definitely an edge rusher. They're almost a similar situation of the Lions a little bit, when you look at it.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, good teams, but some things that need to be addressed. Because you want to talk about a fluky year. I mean, what were they, 13-0 or whatever they were to start the year off?
13-0 at 1 year, yes. And then Buffalo got them. Then Buffalo got them at Buffalo. But still, Buffalo had to go to Kansas City. And we know how important home field advantage is. Now, Kansas City did go into Buffalo a couple years ago and won there. But still, I just think, honestly, for Kansas City, you got to get an offensive lineman or another edge rusher. That's really going to be the key for them going forward. So we'll see what they do. I'll be curious to see what they go. And our last pick of the first round is the defending Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, why are you puking?
I hate Philly.
Why do you hate Philly?
Because they're all a bunch of scumbags.
Why did they?
That's why.
Why they just went and beat? They just went and won the Super Bowl, man, last year.
I know, and great. That's great. Good for them. Their fans don't deserve it. They're
Of course,
scumbags.
of course, that's your opinion, So when you look at what the Eagles need in the draft, they don't need they don't have a lot of needs, so they could just go house money here.
Right, right. Oh man, yeah. You talk about, best roster in football. They
Mm-hmm.
they got it, and they can do whatever they want. This would make sense where, you get somebody with a lot of capital says, hey, we need to come back into the first round here on Thursday night and get our guy. I could see Philly saying, okay, we'll acquire more picks, acquire more depth, more talent, and we'll keep her going. I mean, they did lose some D-line presence, so maybe they take a chance on a James Pierce, somebody with some potential character issues, but immense talent. I could see that being his spot is here in Philly.
Okay, so that is right now all 32 teams of the NFL draft. Ian, what teams are you keeping an eye on in the NFL draft this Thursday night?
Purple, gold, blue, and orange.
Ooh, Minnesota and Chicago. Why?
That's right.
Why both teams?
Okay, because they're in our division, man. That's who I care about.
And you're not keeping an eye on Green Bay?
Yeah, they're the gold team, man.
Oh, yeah.
Gold and green.
Yeah, I know they're gold and green. I mean, if they're the team I'm really keeping an eye on in this draft, I'm keeping an eye on Dallas because curious to see where Micah Parsons, does Dallas trade him? Cincinnati's another team I'm keeping an eye on, especially Trey Henderson. But I think Detroit's probably the team to most keep an eye on because you don't know what Brad Holmes is going to do. You know that Brad Holmes has been a whiz during the draft. I mean, does he go aggressive again or does he go conservative and just say, you know what? I mean, I'm going to keep my pick, maybe even trade down. So, there's a lot of questions really keep an eye on. But I think Detroit's definitely a team I'm keeping an eye on.
Oh, everyone's keenly aware, man. This is a battle now. You know what I mean? This is a 4-team war.
And that'll be interesting to see here. So, any final thoughts, Ian, before I let you go?
Can you repeat that?
Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Final thought would be, man, this is something that I know Detroiters have always, this has been kind of our Super Bowl because we don't have much else. But in a lot of years, even when we're looking forward to it, it's been awful results. We get so hyped up and the team never came through. They nail on Calvin or, Matthew or stuff like that. But to have this be such an exciting time and now our guys, our team, Brad and the bunch come through, man, it is, for me, it's right up there with the start of the year as my excitement. So I'm pumped. I hope everyone else is. And, especially after last year's draft, a lot of the guys didn't see the field. Terrion Arnold was the main dude out of however many guys they got, 6 or 7. So I think this year everyone's kind of waiting on pins and needles, see what Brad's going to pull. So I'm excited, and I hope everyone else is too.
I am too, Ian. Thank you for joining us here this week. Here, Ian Weatherspoon here, talking to us here, co-host of our show, Last Week Brain Cells. All right, everybody, we're signing off here. We'll keep an eye on the draft as we always do, and we'll recap the draft after it gets done. Take care, God bless, and we will all see you in a couple weeks. God bless all.
Peace.